Good morning. Welcome to the State of the College of Dress. I'm Jessica Dixon, Miss East Georgia State College 2016 and a current Correll Scholar. Thank you all for being here this morning. It is an honor to introduce our presenter, President Dr. Bob Bomer, and to recognize our First Lady, Joyce Bomer. Dr. Bomer came as our interim president in 2011 and officially became the 5th president of East Georgia State College on September 27, 2012. Over the last 5 years, he has deeply engaged with the faculty, staff, students, alumni, and the community members to build upon the institution's momentum. Dr. Bomer has spearheaded a massive campus transformation, which has generated millions of dollars in economic investment and extended the college's capacity for teaching, outreach, and service. His vision is one that prepares students for a global economy, fosters faculty creativity and discovery, supports staff development, provides critical economic support for communities, and delivers an educational pathway that enables all students to pursue a better life. President Bomer, on behalf of the East Georgia State College campus and everyone in the community we serve, we are deeply pleased and enormously proud to have you leading East Georgia State College. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome President Dr. Bob Bomer.
Good morning, everyone. It's a real honor to be with you this morning and to have this opportunity for the annual State of the College address. This is one of my favorite days every year. My favorite day is the first day of fall when all of our amazing students arrive. But this is perhaps my second favorite because it's this chance to say a really sincere thank you to people for all that they've done, to reaffirm our commitment to the college's mission, to celebrate the accomplishments of the college, to commit to future improvements, and perhaps most importantly, to think about what are our core values and to reaffirm our commitment to those. So let me start with a few thanks. And first of all, there's been an amazing transformation in our physical campus over the past year. And I'd like to say a special thanks to Senator Jack Hill and Representative Butch Parrish, who are both here with us today, and to Senator Jesse Stone, because their advocacy in the Georgia legislature has made this possible. The first big thing is Bobcat Villas. We've gone from 200 bed spaces to 412, and there's 365 students living in Bobcat Villas today and making this campus a truly lively place. We'd also like to say thanks to our partner, Corvius Campus Living, who has worked so hard with us to get those things constructed on time and to make them as beautiful as they are. I'd also like to thank all the residents of Emmanuel County for welcoming these new residents of our community. You've really opened your arms to these new students, and we appreciate that a great deal. The next piece of this physical expansion of campus is what we broke ground on this morning. Next fall, when you're driving along the circle next to the pond there, instead of looking at the back of the academic building, you're going to be looking at this academic building expansion, and that's going to be strictly brand new state-of-the-art biology labs, a tiered 80-seat classroom, and a whole lot of great great teaching space in that building. Now, when you build new residence halls and you expand your academic building so that more students can take classes, well, the next thing that happens is the space over in the Jam Center starts getting crowded. And so our next project, and this is a proposal, is to expand the Gene Anderson Morgan Student Center to have more space for student organizations, more space for dining, a larger bookstore, all of the things that students need to be academically successful. Now, I want to make a really big point here, is that student space like that is not just for fun. Students who are engaged, students who participate in student activities, spend time on campus with their co-students and with faculty members and staff, those are the students who excel academically. So this space, which we're going to be asking Senator Hill and Representative Parrish to advocate for on our behalf in the legislature this year, is critical to our students' academic success. Now, we've talked about buildings, but all of you know that there's a big old piece of land that is the Swainsboro campus. You're sitting right now in the Luck Flanders Gambrell Auditorium. The reason that this campus exists is because back in 1974, if you look up there at the top, Luck Flanders Gambrell donated all of that land from the Fulford Center all the way back to where the residence halls, the Bobcat Villas, are now located. That was about 220 acres. As a result of a recent gift by the Gambrell family, our campus will soon be 385 acres. And what I want all of you to understand is how much that means for your college. Because what that means is, due to the generosity of the Gambrells, long after I've left East Georgia, there's going to be plenty of space for this college to continue to grow and to make opportunities available for more students like you. Now, another thing I'm really excited about is when you've got 385 acres and you've got these new buildings, you've got to have a plan so that the campus is really developed in a way that shows that we're good stewards of that property, and it's beautiful property. Well, starting this fall, the University of Georgia College of Environment and Design is going to begin working with all of us. They're going to be asking you questions about where should these buildings go, how should this property be used, and we'll end up with a physical master plan as a result of this cooperation by the University of Georgia. Now, why is all of this important? Buildings, land. Well, all of it's important because of our mission. Now, you'll hear me say over and over, East Georgia State College is an access institution. And justifiably, you're asking, well, so what? What's an access institution? Well, what I'd like to do is I'd like to read to you an email that I got late one night about 2 weeks ago. And to me, this answers the question, what is an access institution? Good evening, Dr. Bomer. I don't know if you remember me, but I used to work at EGSC a number of years ago as an admissions recruiter. I just wanted to reach out to you and see how things were, and to thank you and those at EGSC for giving me the opportunity to study and work there. While it may seem inconsequential now, EGSC gave me the opportunity of a lifetime twice, and really opened up the door necessary for me not only to pursue a degree, but a career. I came to East Georgia State College, then East Georgia College, as a student with a GED, hoping that I hadn't messed up my life too badly. I was able to enroll at Statesboro, and after gaining 30 hours, I transferred to Georgia Southern to pursue a bachelor's degree. I'm proud to say that I am now one semester away from completing my PhD coursework. Further, upon completing a degree at Georgia Southern and looking for employment, East Georgia again gave me the opportunity to serve as an admissions recruiter. That job opened up the door for me to begin working in student affairs, and that journey has brought me all the way to LSU, where I currently work as the Director of Greek Life. While I am now a Tiger, I'll never forget that had I not been a Bobcat, none of this would have been possible. Now, that's what it is to be an access institution. When we say that's our mission, that's what we're talking about. Now, what I want all of you to understand is that if you look at this big swath of land, and pretty much that goes from Augusta over to Savannah, up to Macon, forms a big triangle. When we think about this college, what we say is that everyone in that region ought to have access to an affordable college education. There should not be a bright student anywhere in that region who wants to go to college that can't do it because it's too expensive. And that's why we've got 3 locations. We've got about 1,300 students in Swainsboro and Statesboro, and we're pushing 500 at Augusta right now. Now, I think this is really impressive when you think about what you're doing in your classrooms right now, how hard you're working. In 3 years, students who walked through this door, who had access, over 1,000 of those have graduated in a 3-year period from University System of Georgia institutions. So 1,000 students in a 3-year period have gone on to earn that bachelor's degree at the next level. And what I want every student in this room to have in your mind is that it should not be a question to you, am I going to complete my associate's degree? You should be saying to yourself, I'm going to complete that degree. I'm going to go on to earn a bachelor's degree. And because of the way this University System of Georgia is structured with 29 institutions, look at all those options that you have available to you on that map as a result of the hard work that you are doing right now. All right, now, if that's the mission of the college, All of you ought to be saying, I thought this was like the state of the college. So, Bob, what is the state of the college? Well, it's excellent. You ought to be proud to be a Bobcat. You ought to be proud to be at East Georgia State College. The reason, when you think about it, is there's this incredible intersection right now between that mission of the college and all of these issues that you hear the presidential candidates talking about. When you hear them debate, one of the big issues that they talk about is college. And what do they say? They say, in really basic terms, it needs to be affordable. It needs to be accessible. Once students get here, they need to not stop out. They need to graduate. And colleges need to operate in an efficient and affordable manner. That's basically what the presidential candidates are talking about. All right, now, if you look at affordable, accessible, students graduate, and it's efficient, you can put East Georgia State College right next to that. And that's why the state of the college is so good right now. Let's look at some of the numbers here. Across the country, what's going on? State legislatures are spending more money on higher education. If you look at the U.S. as a whole, it's gone from the 70 billion range to the 80 billion range in terms of what states are spending on higher education. But how's this affecting you? Well, your parents and you, even though states are putting more into higher education, students and their families are paying a higher share of the total cost. Look at what has happened from looking here in about 1990 to looking over here in 2015. You're paying about half of the total cost of your education with your tuition. Back in 1990, it was about a quarter of the cost. So what should you be saying as students, as taxpayers, as members of this community? You ought to be saying, President Boehmer, East Georgia State College needs to remain affordable. Look at these numbers. These are all the state colleges in the university system of Georgia. Look at the total tuition and fees. South Georgia State College and East Georgia State College, $3 apart, are the lowest total cost of tuition and fees in the university system of Georgia. Now you add in, you got to have something to eat and a place to live. And when you look over here, the same thing is true, with the exception of those two schools, Bainbridge and Atlanta Metro, that don't have residence halls. East Georgia State College and South Georgia State are the lowest total cost of education in the university system of Georgia. And I'm telling you, I'm committed to keeping it that way so that more students like you can have access to higher education. So we're affordable. Are we accessible? Now, these numbers are pretty dense, but these are pretty important. Look at what is happening in the United States. And I want to ask you, are you okay with this? The top two income quartiles in the United States, What percentage of all bachelor's degrees do students in the top 2 income quartiles obtain? 77%. How many bachelor's degrees go to students who come from the bottom 2 income quartiles? Well, that leaves 23%. If the country keeps moving on in that direction, with the higher income groups attaining college degrees and the lower income groups not attaining them, that doesn't spell good things for the socioeconomic health of our nation. So access is really important, you guys. Now, access is really, really important in this part of the state. Look at the state of Georgia as a whole. Look at it down in the middle line there. Look at the median household income. Look at the poverty rate. Look at the rate of people in the communities that attain bachelor's degrees. Then look at that top line and look at Emmanuel County as an example. This means that those numbers about who is earning bachelor's degrees are going to hit our community even harder if we don't continue to do the hard work we're doing. Now, as a result of the hard work we're doing, this is a chart I pulled out of the Chronicle of Higher Education. This is a national magazine that all of the higher education geeks like me in the country like to read. All right? It listed the top 20 fastest growing 2-year institutions in the country during that period from 2004 to 2014. East Georgia State College was number 17. So we're doing a good job of increasing the access to this region. We've got to do even more. Look at that enrollment from the left side of the screen, 1996 over to the present. That's even more dramatic than the last graph when you look at the enrollment growth of the college. A lot of that is due to the hard work of people that are sitting out in this audience today. Our folks in student affairs and enrollment management who go out and try to make students in our high schools aware of the importance of getting that college degree. Last year, we did a tour, and it was the 3rd year in a row, where we went out and visited 30 high schools over a course of 2 weeks and told them about that message of the importance of college. That hard work by those folks in student affairs and enrollment management is really paying dividends. And that's why we need all that land for this campus to grow, because we need to fill up that space with the students like you who need to have the life that will come from earning that college degree. Look at our last 3 semesters, our last 3 fall semesters. We've increased almost 2%, almost 3%, and almost 4% over the last 3 fall semesters, and I trust that that trend is going to continue. Now, there may be some of you out in the room now who are Move On When Ready students, high school students who are taking college classes today for credit. We've gone from 19 Move On When Ready students in 2012 to almost 350 this year. Now, we're affordable. Increasing number of students are taking advantage of access. How about graduation? Because that's the third part of that national discussion. Now, first of all, I want you to look at these statewide numbers and think about these a little. Emmanuel County, Dr. Judy's sitting back there, is doing a pretty doggone good job of getting students to graduate from high school. About a year after students get out of high school, how many of those who have gone on to higher education have completed at least a year of credit? Look how the number drops off. What's happening? Students are graduating from high school. A fairly good number are choosing higher education. Southeastern Tech, East Georgia State College, University of Georgia. But not enough students are going on to finish. This is one of our biggest challenges that we're all facing as a community. More of you have got to not only make the decision to come here, you've got to do well in your courses. That's where you start. Well, look at how East Georgia is improving there. We're improving from an overall course success rate of 63.7 in 2012 to 67.7 now. I like the improvement, but are you satisfied with that? I'm not. We're making good progress. We've got to do better. How about the graduation rates? This is the percentage of students who, within a 3-year period, enter East Georgia and then earn that associate's degree. Now, fall of 2008, that was 5.6%. Fall of 12, that was up to 10.8%. Market improvement, right? But is that good enough for any of you? I hope you would all agree that this is an area where we have to continue making significant improvement. Look at these numbers. The total number of graduates. From fall of 12 to summer of 16, if you look at it on an annual basis, we've gone from graduating 173 a year to 373 a year. Again, really good progress. We're going the right direction. That's got to get better. Now, some of the reasons that it's going to get better is that look at the range of degrees that are now available to East Georgia State College students. As a result of a change recently made by the Board of Regents, students will be able to earn associate degrees with disciplinary distinction. Those are associate degrees in certain narrow areas. All of those are available to you, as well as these 3 bachelor's degrees. I hope many of you that are here are thinking of going on here at East Georgia and earning that biology degree or that Fire and Emergency Services Administration bachelor's degree, or starting next fall in partnership with Southeastern Tech, we're going to be offering a a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing degree. Really excited about what that means for the rural health quality here in East Georgia. Now, while we're doing all of this, I want all of the students to understand that the administration and the faculty are committed to making sure that you continue to be taught by full-time faculty members in small classes. And if you look at these numbers, you'll see that the record shows that as we grow, we add full-time faculty members, they keep teaching the classes, and the classes are staying small. We also know that you need professional staff to help you with advising, tutoring, financial aid, counseling, and as you can see, our staff is growing as you grow. There's now 40 Corel Scholars on campus as a result of a generous gift by Pete and Ada Lee Corel. I hope all of you are considering one of these affordable study abroad programs, 2 opportunities in Costa Rica and 1 in Canada this summer. These are truly life-changing opportunities for all of the students in this room. And I also want to say a word about athletics. Athletics are putting us on the map in many ways. Our men's and women's basketball programs, our men's baseball program, and our women's softball program have really been getting a lot of attention athletically, but our students in those programs are continually doing better academically. I want to tell you a quick story here. Several years ago, our men's basketball team went to the NJCAA National Championship Tournament in Hutchinson, Kansas. One of the young men on that team, Trey Haygood, not only went to that national tournament, but he got his associate's degree that year. He went on to Prairie View in Texas, played at the next level, NCAA Division I, starred at the next level, got his bachelor's degree. He went on to play a year of professional basketball overseas. You know what he's doing now? He is down at the University of Miami getting his master's in business administration. That's my dream for all of you in this room, that whether you're involved in athletics or student government, or whether you're in the business club or the science club, that what you're thinking about is the brilliant future you've got if you follow that same pattern that Trey followed, which is being engaged while you're here, realizing the importance of getting that degree, and then going on to earn the associate's degree and the bachelor's degree after that. It is possible for every student in this room. Now, we're affordable, we're accessible, we're doing better on making sure that all of you graduate. How are we doing in running the sort of business side of the college? Now, this is one where I predict about half of you are going to totally zone out on me, but please understand how important this is. Money comes to the college from primarily 2 places: to be able to pay for your education. One is our legislators vote and they give us a state allocation. And then you pay tuition. Here is one of our biggest challenges as an institution. The dollar amount that we get went up 12.78% this year. That's great. That means it's $3,023 per every full-time equivalent student. Why is that so important? Look at that chart. That's all the state colleges in the university system of Georgia. We need to do better, I need to do better, in advocating on your behalf to the Board of Regents as to why this number per full-time equivalent student should be more similar to the other institutions like us in the state of Georgia. Now, I want all of you to understand that that's only part of the strategy. The college, thanks to the generosity of the foundation, and there's a number of members of the foundation that are here today. The foundation has provided money for us to enter into a contract with Palmetto Grants Consulting. And what we're going to be doing this year is we're going to be working real aggressively to add a third source of money to those other two. Remember I said tuition revenue, state allocation. We need to be going out there for the grants that people like the Lumina Foundation, the Gates Foundation are making available to improve higher education for students like you, and we will be doing that. Now, audit results. Seems kind of dry, doesn't it? Have you picked up the Atlanta Journal-Constitution or gone and read it online in the past year and read about schools across the state where they've had some kind of a financial scandal that has embarrassed the institution and maybe threatened it financially? You've read about a lot of those, unfortunately. Over the last 5 years, these are the results of East Georgia State College's independent audits. Due to the strong financial management provided by our business office, you haven't and you won't be reading about any of those sort of financial improprieties at East Georgia State College. Now, another thing I want to show you in terms of efficiency is how well do we use the facilities that are provided to us. Again, look at all of the state colleges like us in the university system. That's the total resident instruction square footage. Now, look at the resident instruction gross square footage per student. We're doing a lot with relatively little. A lot of that is because we manage those facilities efficiently. But again, we do need to keep improving the amount of space we have available for all of you to pursue your degrees so that you're on the same footing with these other institutions. I want to also mention to you that safety is a priority at East Georgia State College. We have got not security guards, we've got a police force that is here to make sure that all of you are safe. We've increased the number of our police officers over 5 years from 5 to 9.5. Now, I've got an editorial comment that I'd like to share with all of you. A lot of you may have seen last week an advertisement that was being circulated around the community. It was an advertisement for an off-campus event. And when you looked at that advertisement, it's not one that I would have been proud of, but it had on that advertisement, it had the East Georgia State College logo. It was an event off campus that was targeting all of you, and it was particularly targeting the women in the group. And it was purporting to be something the college sponsored. I want all of you to know the college had no association with that event whatsoever. I worry a great deal about the personal safety of all of you living here on campus. I don't want your college career, your life to be damaged by participation in an event like that. And I want the community to help me convey to people who are trying to prey on the amazing students out in this room that that's not going to happen on my watch. That if there is any of those events that in any way go outside the bounds of the law or that misrepresent that they're college-sponsored events, we're simply going to not tolerate that because your safety is of the highest importance to me. More important, your futures are of the highest importance to me. And that's why we have this police department to make sure that I'm able to look your parents in the eyeballs and say that I'm doing everything possible to keep this campus safe and secure. Now, I also want to give a shout out to the folks from our IT department. All of you live in a connected world. You're probably like me. You've got your cell phone in your pocket and you've got a computing device back in the residence hall and you've probably got another one in the car. Well, look at how that is increasing the workload of the folks who make the really good wireless and computing environment here available to you. Their workload has gone up dramatically, but they are committed to continuing to provide you with a high-speed, high-quality, safe and secure computing environment, and I thank them. All right, now, what impact does all of this that we're talking about have on this community that we live in? Every year, the University of Georgia sits down and they say, what is the impact on this region of all of you coming here, going to Walmart, spending money, going to restaurants downtown, spending money? What is the economic impact of this community on the region? You can see that it's gone up to over 62 million, and it creates 905 jobs. With the new construction that just got kicked off this morning, that's going to continue to rise dramatically in the next year. Also, there's a number of people here today from the East Georgia State College Foundation. That's the group that makes scholarships available to many of you who are sitting in this room today. Look how the assets of the foundation have grown over the last 5 years. Look at how the total amount of scholarships that are available to you have increased. The foundation members that are here today, I can tell you to a person, are committed to continuing to increase the size of that foundation in order to continue to make educational opportunities available to all of you. We started a new alumni organization. They kicked off this new alumni organization just last weekend. That is also going to significantly add to that fundraising, those fundraising dollars that are available to provide scholarships and enhance your learning environment. Now, another topic we need to address today is challenges. You've probably read or had friends that went to one of these, that go to one of these institutions. And they've told you that their institution was merged with another institution. A good example is Georgia State got merged with Georgia Perimeter. Southern Polytechnic got merged with Kennesaw State. And you probably hear a lot of rumors because people are saying there's going to be more of these consolidations, and there probably will. You probably have heard a lot of people say, well, East Georgia State College is one of those who is soon to be merged. I can tell you on a personal level that I do not have any indication whatsoever that East Georgia State College will be one of the institutions included in a merger in the near future. So I hope all of you are not paying as much attention to those rumors as and worrying about them as people that I have run into in the community. I don't think we're going to be merged. Now, a huge challenge we have is how are we going to do all of this that I'm talking to you about with the limited resources that we have available. How many faculty and staff do I have in the room today? Students, look around. These are all people who are dedicated to your future. They are people that work every day and way beyond 40 hours a week trying to make sure that your future is bright. We were recently able to give all of those people a raise. But the raise that we gave them didn't bring them up to the level of salaries that they'd be able to earn at other institutions around the state. That's something that I've got a responsibility to work on, and I want all of you to know that this is one of our biggest challenges. and it's one that I'm most committed to solving. The faculty and the staff who raise their hands deserve that, and all of the students in the room deserve to have faculty and staff who you know are going to be around here for the long term because they are getting a competitive rate of compensation. So what those things I talked about, increasing the state allocation while keeping the tuition flat, and going out there and raising private funds. The reason those things are important is so that the students in this room can have the quality education they deserve, and that the faculty and the staff can have the level of compensation that is competitive and keeps them here. Now, I'd like to end with my suggestion about our core values. And what I'd like you to think about as you look at that list is, I really hope that those are shared values with every person in this room. Integrity. For example, our athletic department is, as we speak, working on a plan to make sure that we have the kind of academic integrity in our athletic program that will be a model for athletic programs around the country. We all ought to exhibit that same type of integrity in everything we do in the classroom and in our student organizations. Service to the community which founded this institution. All of the Correll Scholars in this room have an obligation of service as a result of the scholarship that they're receiving. All of you in the room have the opportunity to earn a service seal of distinction on your degree when you graduate. Many of our students are working with Dr. Judy and the Emmanuel County School District to tutor deserving students in the schools in this area. There's multiple opportunities for service, and one of our core values as an institution is we've gotten this opportunity for an education. We know we got to give back at the same time that we receive that opportunity. Respect for all members of our community. That ad that I talked about that off-campus social event that was floating around the community last week demonstrated a level of disrespect for young women which I found to be shameful. I really hope that everyone in this room joins me in saying that we are going to treat all members of this community with the respect that they deserve by virtue of being here. Every one of the students in this room earned your way into this room. You're here because you academically, athletically, you earned your way to a college opportunity. And you deserve the respect that goes along with that. And I hope all of you will join me in making that one of our core values. Intellectual curiosity. All of us are here because we're curious about the future and how to solve the problems of the community that we live in. And so I hope that all of you, as you think about why you're here, will think about the importance of developing the kind of a mind that when you leave here, you'll continue to have the capacity to see new problems and to think of creative ways to solve those problems. That's one of our fundamental values, being intellectually curious, and diversity. Our student body is roughly half African American and half Caucasian. I really think that makes this a really unique and rich community. We've got a program here called the African American Male Initiative. It's devoted to significantly increasing the graduation rates of African American males, which have traditionally not been as high as the other groups represented in this room. We value diversity, we take care of one another, and we want to see dramatic improvements in the graduation rates for all parts of this community. And one of the programs that I think represents all of those values is we are one of the leading institutions in the state of Georgia in programs for intellectually disabled adults. We are really on the cutting edge in terms of making a college experience and a college education available to students with intellectual disabilities. We call it Choice at East Georgia. And I encourage all of you to continue welcoming those students into our community as we continue to grow. So, all of that being said, this is my goal for every one of you in this room, every one of the students. I want to be standing there in the gymnasium, shaking your hand, seeing you in your academic regalia, and handing you that East Georgia State College degree that you deserve, because that is your ticket to the future you deserve. And that's why we're all spending this hour together this morning. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate and respect the thoughtful and attentive way that you've all listened to this long discussion, and how much I appreciate having the chance to serve as president of this marvelous community. Thank you.